Did you know that in the United States, it was illegal to be in an interracial relationship at one point? Yes, as in it was against the law. What? Hola amigos, my name is Eddie G and you are watching P.O.V. on Me Too News. P.O.V. is a series in which I take a topic and I give it the Eddie G 1, 2, 3. This week I asked Facebook what they would like for me to talk about. I was pleasantly surprised to see so many people wanted me to talk about racially and culturally mixed relationships. A topic I know nothing about. I'm kidding. I actually have dated outside of my race and my culture as well. You might be wondering, why am I differentiating the two? The reason why I'm differentiating these things is because they are technically different. Just as an example, a Mexican dating someone who's African American or white would be racially different. Now, a Mexican dating someone from El Salvador is culturally different, but it's not racially different. Technically speaking. Before anyone gets all technical on me and say, hey Eddie, by the way, there's only 3 races or 4 or 5 depending on who you ask, let's not get into all the technicalities because otherwise we're never gonna get to the topic. Everything boils down to differences. Differences. We all deal with differences. Race is just one of those differences. But if you've ever been in a multicultural relationship, you know that there are a lot of similarities in being in a culturally and a racially mixed relationship. You deal with a lot of the same types of things. You'll have family members, friends, even random people on the streets giving you looks or giving you their opinion as how things should be. Relationships are hard enough as it is, but having this thing on top of it can really test a person's character. I have a lot of friends and family who are in interracial relationships. A lot of my fan base actually is multicultural, which I think is a beautiful thing. So for this episode, I talked to a lot of you guys out there and ask you to share your experiences with me. Some of you are dealing with very tough situations out there, like immigration, racism, family not accepting you, cultural differences and stereotypes and all kinds of stuff. So in talking to some of you, I came up with a list of 3 things that people in interracial and intercultural relationships have to deal with. Number 1, you deal with stereotypes. People in interracial relationships a lot of times have to deal with negative stereotypes about them. If you see a white guy dating an Asian, someone is bound to say that guy has an Asian fetish. If you see a Latina dating a black guy, someone's gonna say, what? She started dating a black guy? I know, right? Well, you know what they say about black guys, right? If a Latina marries a white guy, somehow she's sold out. Ah, what? You want a better life or what? It's kind of screwed up because it's not just 2 people in a relationship. Now there's this added level of, what are people saying about me? In front of me or behind my back. But sometimes those stereotypes also come from your own partner. I have a Latina friend who told me that when she first started dating her black boyfriend, he expected her to cook. I have news for you, man. She's a 3rd generation Mexican American. She ain't cooking. Not all Latinas know how to cook. Oh, what? Just because I'm Mexican, you think I gotta cook or what? What am I, your fucking maid? Sometimes your friends and family will make insensitive jokes about you dating someone from another race or from another culture. For example, if you're Mexican and you're dating someone from El Salvador, someone is bound to try to make a rivalry out of it. Number 2. Religion. For a long time, Latin America was primarily Catholic. You know, in Latin America, religious ceremonies are very, very big. A civil marriage is not gonna cut it for grandma. She wants you to get married by the church. But more and more, Latin Americans are switching religions, or they're dropping religion altogether. It's a tough decision that a lot of you out there are having to deal with. What about if you're a devout Catholic and you fall in love with a devout Seventh-day Adventist? What do you mean you go to church on Saturday? Yeah, we go to church on Saturday. And one that gets even more complicated when there's children involved. You're gonna have to talk about religion all over again. I don't want to go to church on Saturday or Sunday. You're gonna have to talk about how to discipline your kids. All kinds of stuff. Those are some tough decisions you gotta deal with. Number 3. Language. A lot of mixed couples out there have to deal with language issues. Your mom doesn't speak English. Your significant other doesn't speak Spanish. Just as an example, my girlfriend is a 3rd generation Mexican American and speaks very, very little Spanish. My mom speaks very little English. Seeing them try to communicate is kind of a funny thing. If you ask my mom how they communicate, she'll tell you, entre palabras y señas ahí nos afiguramos, mijo. If you're in this type of relationship, you just gotta get used to the idea of being a translator all the time. Mijo, ¿cómo se dice cuando se casan en inglés? Eddie, how do you say he hasn't proposed to me in Spanish? Awkward. So what is my point of view? Our world is becoming a lot more diverse. And as it becomes more diverse, the tendency is to try to classify everything into neat little boxes where everything fits. So these terms, racial, ethnic, cultural, these things are there really to help us categorize things. But the world is a lot more complicated than that. There are mixed races, there are mixed ethnicities, there are mixed cultures. The reality is that if we try to label every single thing that is different about each other, it's never going to end. I think what we need to start focusing on is our similarities. We all want to be happy, right? We all want to be loved and accepted. Who has the right to judge you for who you love? Or tell you that loving someone is illegal? I started this video by telling you that it used to be illegal in the United States to marry someone of a different race. We eventually figured out that our laws were wrong, and we changed them. Today, there are various groups that are suffering the same type of discrimination that interracial couples were suffering back in the day. LGBT community and immigrants are just the latest to be singled out for being different. At some point in history, someone thought that slavery was a good thing, that banning interracial marriages was a good thing, that banning gay marriage is a good thing, that deporting people and separating them from their families is a good thing. I think now, looking back at some of the things that happened throughout history, you almost have to scratch your head and think, what were these people thinking? But I have faith that history is going to prove all these people wrong. You see, every single time, love is going to win. Anyway, thank you guys for watching POV. My name's Eddie G. If you want to continue the conversation, make sure you go to my Facebook page where I will be discussing this video and other things. Come by sometimes, we can have a good time. Also, make sure that you like Me Too News on Facebook and you subscribe to this channel. And you can run and tell that, homeboy. I'll see ya next Friday.